This is Ryan Detweiler, and I am going to teach you how to use your Mimio Teach hardware along with your Mimio Studio software. First thing I'm going to talk about is the hardware. This is the one I use in my classroom. It's a white model. It's the newer model. You might also have the older model that looks like this. It is, for the most part, the same thing. It's just some of the buttons work a little bit differently on the hardware itself. But I'm going to start talking about this one first. So we have a couple of different buttons on here. If you look at button number 1, this, if you ever happen to have these tools that you use every day in your classroom, which we're going to talk about next, if these ever happen to go off your screen, if you press that button near your screen, the tools should pop right back up. And if I do it right now, notice here they are. They come right back up. If you are not actually using your board and you're at your computer just making a lesson, for example, you don't have to just use that little clicker. You could also access it right here. You can open it up through here by double clicking, and there they are. Or you can also go up to your tools option up on the top bar and select tools. Either way, they all get you to the same place you want to go, and that's to your tools bar. Button number 2 on your pointer is the hover button. So for example, if I'm at the board and let's say I even have the pencil selected, which we'll talk about again later, if I don't want to draw across my board with my pencil, which right now I'm actually using the pen itself, if I just want to hover, if I hold the mouse above the board, not actually pressing down on it, and hold button number 2, I can hover across the board wherever I want to go if I want to move my mouse around. Now this is very useful, for example, if you're not actually having your Mimio Teach hardware like this piece right here at the board and you have it at your desk and you can actually see the screen where you're writing. It's very useful. So for right now, for example, I have it on a whiteboard. I don't have my projector on or anything like that, but I can still see based off of my computer screen where I'm going to possibly write or highlight or whatever I'm going to do. We now have, let's see, what else do we have? Also with the newer model, you'll notice there's a dock right here. This dock is actually very important. Your pen that you have for the newer models have a built-in battery into them, which means you have to charge it. I don't know if you can see these little bands right here, this one and there's one up here. They're metal actually, and they have to connect into the Mimio Teach in order to charge. Now I've had this for a good portion of this semester and it's getting close to the end of my semester and I really haven't charged it yet. I kind of just keep this locked in my desk so it doesn't disappear. So the charge lasts for quite a long time, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. But if your pen's not working, that's probably the case. You're going to have to make sure this Mimio Teach hardware is plugged in and your pen is placed up on the dock. Now we also have a couple buttons right here, 7 and 6. 7 is probably one of the more important buttons that we'll have to work with. That's our calibrate button. Now if you want to write on your board and you actually want the pen to write where you want it, where you're touching the board, it's kind of important that you calibrate it properly. So if I press my calibrate button, you'll see this screen right here pops up, and then we'll have to use our mouse, not on the computer, but the pen that you have that comes with your software, and click in the center of that X, and then you'll notice, I'll do it on my board so you can see, it pulls up another one, and you just have to go all the way around, clicking the center of each X. Now if you don't click it right in the center, let's say for example I want to write right here on that mark, if I click on that with my pen and I didn't calibrate it properly, it could start writing over here or somewhere else randomly. So it's very important that you calibrate it correctly, and that is not something that you actually have to do every single time that you are using your Mimio. There is an option to where you can set it to calibrate like you did the last time you calibrated it. So if you don't move your Mimio, you leave it pretty much at the same exact spot where it doesn't slide at all, it stays at the same spot. If you go into your settings, there's an option under here, where is it? It's under interactive. If you click on interactive in your settings, so if I pull up the settings for you to see, here's what it looks like. If you click on interactive, it will show you these options right here. It says use previous calibration. So the Mimio will remember how far away you previously calibrated it. So you don't have to keep doing it every single time you turn on your projector in Mimio and do all this stuff. So it's kind of useful. 6 says launch. Now to see what that looks like, I'll just press it so you can see. It brings up this whole list of information. You'll notice there's the screen annotation, which we'll talk about most of this stuff later. And actually, here's another way you can get your tools. So there's a total of 4 different ways if you forget where these tools are to get it up. One of the things that I'm actually using right now to make this video is a recorder. This recorder, you can record whatever's on your screen. You have full control of your desktop, and whatever you're doing or saying, it'll record it exactly what you're doing. So instead of asking for new software to record your screen or anything like that, it's already paid for. We already have this software, so use it. It's very important. I know a lot of teachers like to use a lot of the free programs that you have on the iPads and things like that, like Show Me or things like that. I think my favorite is Doceri, but that's something else to talk about. But if you just want to record what is going on your computer screen, the recorder works great because I'm using it right now and it's great. So that's the hardware. That's pretty much everything you need to know about this device right here. Now, as far as the software goes, which is the Mimio Studio software, this is called a Mimio Teach. This software, our Mimio Studio software, the first thing I'm going to start talking about today is our tools, and we'll save that for the next video. So